There are so many millions of people who are using ChatGPT right now, but I promise you that most of them, if not any of them, are actually using the prompts that I'm going to share with you in today's video because they're very unique and very special, and they've only become recently available and discoverable because of a very recent update to ChatGPT. OpenAI released ChatGPT over a year ago, and there were several different problems that people ran into when using the chatbot. For instance, if you carried on the conversation for too long, eventually it would begin to hallucinate as the conversation extended beyond its context box or its ability to accurately recall earlier information. But that shouldn't be too much of a problem anymore, as they have a very large context window that is more than enough for the average conversation. But another problem that people were having with ChatGPT is that it didn't remember anything. And so if you were having a conversation about something and then you ended up in this hallucination phase, you would have to copy some of the information from the previous conversation, paste it into the second conversation, and pick up with your conversation again. Well, that's not the case anymore, because now ChatGPT has the ability to remember specific facts and preferences about you based on your conversations, so that each individual's conversation with ChatGPT is their own, and it's customized and it's molded around them, their personality, and their shared experiences with the chatbot. So why is that important? Because it's actually opened up an entire field of prompt engineering and prompts in general that no one is talking about yet and that no one is using right now, but I'm going to share them with you in this video. Now, when it comes to the prompts, I don't believe you have to word them exactly the way that I'm going to word them, because I'm going to use natural language, and I don't believe that using exact words are actually going to control the outcome or the output that ChatGPT is going to produce. In any language, there's more than one way to express an idea, and I believe that the chatbot is gathering what that idea is from the words that we use and the weights that it gives to each word, and then it's giving an output based on the idea, not necessarily on the semantics of the words that we actually use. And so feel free to explore and experiment with however you word this, and just be as natural as possible, and your results will most likely be great. So I'm going to share with you 5 different prompts and give you different examples of the prompt, but it's important to know that all of these prompts have to do with understanding who we are and gaining personal insight about ourselves that we could not gain otherwise. And for the very first prompt, we just want to gain some personal insight into who we are as individuals so that we can better understand ourselves using AI. And so here's an example of the first prompt. Based on our conversations, what are 3 adjectives that would describe my personality? And so the chatbot says that I'm ambitious, innovative, and passionate for the 3 adjectives that it would use to describe me. I really love this prompt because it helps us overcome one of our biggest fallacies, and that's the fallacy that we can't see ourselves. A lot of times we think we're one way when we're actually another way. And based on your conversations with ChatGPT, how vulnerable you've been, how honest and transparent you've been, you're going to get some good feedback as to your strengths or adjectives that would define you. And so you may even say, ChatGPT, based on our conversations, what are 3 adjectives that you would use to describe my personality that are negative? And so you might use this prompt to find out, like, what are some character deficiencies that I have? And I think that might even be a better way to say it. For example, character deficiencies. And now I'm going to find some areas to improve in. And so 3 areas that it says that could describe potential character deficiencies are perfectionistic. You might have a tendency to set very high standards, which could lead to stress or difficulty in delegating tasks. And that is on point. Number 2, impatient. You seem to have a strong drive for quick results, which might lead to frustration when things don't move as fast as you like. And number 3, overcommitted. You are involved in many projects simultaneously, which could lead to spreading yourself too thin and potentially impacting the quality or focus on each task. And I'll tell you right now, that's on point, because right now I'm in the process of eliminating a lot of projects that I'm involved in and simplifying everything in my content and in my business. But these are some great prompts that you could use to get a view of yourself that you may not have known existed. Now, the second prompt is also interesting because this one is going to help you identify different interests that you have. And again, one of our biggest problems is our inability to actually see ourselves. So here's the prompt. What are my top 3 interests based on the conversations that we've had? Based on our conversations, your top priorities are monetization equation framework, content creation and optimization, building and engaging communities. And that's true. Of course, it's based on our conversations since the memory update, but I use ChatGPT to help me refine everything in my community, to engage with my community, and to make sure that I'm offering the best content possible to everyone that I'm involved with, including now. And just like in the previous example, you may say, well, let me play with this a little bit and see what else it can tell me about my interests. Based on our conversations, what are 3 interests that are not explicit, but they are definitely implied in our conversations that I probably would never think I'm interested in? And so let's see what it says. 3 interests that are not explicitly stated but implied are data analysis and metrics. You show a keen interest in understanding the performance of your content and opt based on detailed metrics and analytics. This indicates a hidden interest in data analysis as you frequently reference click-through rates, conversion rates, and audience engagement statistics. Psychology of consumer behavior. You're focused on understanding the mental blocks and fears that deter content creators from launching their products, suggest an underlying interest in the psychology behind consumer behavior and motivation. This is evident in your efforts to address these issues in your content and coaching. This is spot on. This is great. This is good stuff. Design and visual communication. Your emphasis on thumbnail design, mock-ups, and the visual presentation of your products hints at an interest in design and visual communication. You seem to value the impact of visual elements in attracting and engaging your audience. And this is true as well. It needs to look good. If your content doesn't look good, if the packaging of your product doesn't look good, people will never discover how good it actually is, because as much as we hate to say it, don't judge a book by its cover. That's exactly what people do. We judge books, products, and even content by the cover. And so the third prompt that I'm going to introduce you to is actually going to explore your communication style. As in all of these examples, we can use it to actually understand where we fall short and improve, or we can use it just to understand ourselves better and see how other people see us a little bit. And so here's the example prompt. ChatGPT, based on our conversations, how would you describe my communication style? Direct and clear, enthusiastic and motivational, detail-oriented, and structured. What are some ways I can improve my communication style that you've noticed in my conversations? ? Give me some examples also so I can understand my fallacies when I'm making them. And I want you to notice that that last sentence was just completely off. Understand my fallacies when I'm making them. Should have said something like, so I can better understand my errors. But look at what it says. Number 1, balancing detail with conciseness. Sometimes providing too much detail can overwhelm your audience or dilute your main message. Improvement. Focus on summarizing key points first and then diving into details as needed. I'm going to make sure that when I edit this video, I edit out a lot of the fluff and try to make this video more detailed, because this is a problem of mine, talking too much, and I'm doing it right now. Enhancing empathy and relatability. Being very direct can sometimes come off as too blunt or impersonal. Listen, guys, I had a conversation with my younger brother a couple of months ago, and I was just telling him like, hey, I feel like I'm not connecting with my YouTube audience. I know I'm growing, but I see people around me growing at a much faster pace, and my content is just as good, if not better than theirs. And I'm just not understanding why people aren't subscribing to the channel. And he was like, well, bruh, let me just, tell you, man, like sometimes when I'm listening to you, it's like you're speaking too fast, or the way you talk, it's like it's not natural. And it was like, you need to relax a little bit. And basically, he was telling me that I need to enhance my empathy and relatability because I'm talking, too stiff, right? And so if I talk too stiff in my videos, let me know in the comments. Say, yeah, Corey, you need to lighten up and loosen up in the videos a little bit, because sometimes you talk too fast and you're talking too big or whatever. And I need you to just slow down and take your time and be more relatable, right? Just let me know in the comments. But I agree with this. Number 3, encouraging two-way communication. Focusing solely on delivering information without encouraging feedback can make your communication feel one-sided. Well, I just offered you guys an opportunity to give me feedback about my empathy and relatability. So no, ChatGPT, I'm fixing that right now before I'm reading this here. Wow. And you're just going to keep giving me, okay, we're not going to do all of that, right? You only gave me 3 things about my style, but You're going to give me 5 things about how I can improve. So the next prompt is to simply ask it about your strengths and weaknesses. And this is going to give you a good idea of some skills you could possibly learn that are going to help you make more money online, or just help you become a better employee, a better husband, a better father, things like that. Because a lot of times we have weaknesses or shortcomings that we don't know about, but we can use ChatGPT to help us learn about all of these things and solve these problems. And so here's the prompt. Based on our conversations, what do you think are my biggest strengths and weaknesses? And I will admit that some of this is going to be overlap, because with each prompt that I've given you, I've also tried to turn it into a negative prompt, so to speak, or a prompt that tries to critique myself. Like, tell me something about myself where I can improve in these different areas. And once again, perfectionism, impatience, overcommitment. And so it's giving me these already in a previous prompt. So there is overlap, but then it's giving me some examples, because in the last prompt, I asked it to include examples, and it has included examples of, based on the conversations we have. So perfectionism, action, delegate tasks to trusted team members, or automate processes where possible to reduce burden on yourself. Example, use AI tools or content drafts, have a team member finalize them, maintaining high standards while speeding up production. And you know what? Like, this is so good, because I've gotten a lot of emails from people who've been reaching out to me about editing videos for me. And I've been like, I've been kind of putting it off because I've tried a couple people, and every time it just doesn't seem to work out. But I do realize I'm at a place now where I do have the ability to delegate my editing and thumbnail creation to somebody else, and they could do it faster and better, but I just got to find the right person. But this is something I definitely need to work on. We talked about all of these. So these are my weaknesses, but what are my strengths? All right. My strengths are strategic vision, enthusiasm and passion, adaptability and innovation. Okay, I like that. Let's move on to the next prompt, though, and let me know in the comments, what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses? How is ChatGPT picking on you since this new memory update? What things are you learning about yourself that you didn't really think about before, that is now making you more conscious of and helping you improve on? Macaroni. And so the last prompt is a little bit different. We don't want to be as direct as we've been in the previous 4 prompts. We actually want ChatGPT to tell us something that no one else can tell us about ourselves. And we're going to say, based on our conversations, what goals or aspirations do you believe I have that I have never mentioned to you and that no one probably knows about me? And we're going to see what ChatGPT can infer about us. Now, the ability for ChatGPT to draw inferences is very powerful, because I believe this proves that it does have the ability to think, that it's reasoning and not necessarily weighing words or predicting the next word like some people say. They don't know what's going on inside of the Transformers, by the way, so there's really no argument one way or the other, in my opinion. But based on our conversations, here are some inferred goals or aspirations you might have, which you haven't explicitly mentioned and that might not be widely known. Number 1, becoming a thought leader in the digital monetization space. Number 2, creating a legacy of educational resources. Number 3, building a scalable and automated business empire. So I've never mentioned these 3 things as aspirations or goals. These are inferences that ChatGPT is drawing based on our conversation. And to some degree, I can safely agree with all of these. I don't know necessarily about building a business empire, but I definitely like to make sure that my business is successful and continues to thrive, at least over the next 5 to 7 years. And so those are my 5 prompts that you can use to have a better understanding of yourself and improve yourself and just make yourself a better person using ChatGPT, because I personally believe we all have blind spots and we all fall short and we all have things in areas where we can improve. And these prompts provide you with a very objective analysis of who you are. But I have to warn you, these prompts are only going to be good for a very limited limited time after you've watched this video, because now you're going to be more conscious that ChatGPT remembers things and is actually learning things about you and can give you feedback. And so we do a lot of talk about AI deceiving us, but it may be that you modify your conversations and deceive the AI so that it thinks you're one type of person when you're actually another type of person. But for the most part, everyone's just been using ChatGPT as normal since the memory update. And so your answers should be honest and accurate answers, in my personal opinion. And if they aren't, let me know in the comments. But I hope you enjoy these prompts, and I hope that you can use them to become a better individual, a better content creator, a better father, a better mother, a better business owner, a better employee, a better anything. Just learn more about yourself and then leverage that to improve anything in your life you want to improve. As always, I hope you guys have a great night. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.